Hello and welcome to my channel. If you're coming across this channel for the first time, please click on the subscribe button. Welcome, my name is ETA. I make nice reaction videos. Today's video is from Alice Tang History, and if you're a returning subscriber on this channel, you know that this is the first time we're checking out this. Thank you for always tuning in, and the topic for today's own is how tiny Denmark owns the world's largest island. We all know that our island is Greenland, right? This is so, honestly, tiny Denmark owning the world's largest island is actually very, it's mind-blowing. So we're going to get into that shortly, but before then, please give me a thumbs up and let's get straight into it.
The Kingdom of Denmark is the largest country in Europe after Russia and ranks 12th in the world by area. However, this ranking comes with a caveat. It includes Greenland. Officially, Greenland is not an independent state but enjoys autonomy within the Danish kingdom. Over time, this autonomy has expanded significantly, but it has not yet transitioned to full independence. Thus, Denmark, which on its own is twice as small as Portugal, officially owns overseas territories as large as, for instance, Iran and Iraq combined. Today, we will discuss how tiny Denmark came to own the largest island on the planet. Let us first travel back 1,000 years to the era of the formidable Vikings. In the latter half of the 10th century, a family of Thorvald Asfaldsson lived in Norway. True to Viking stereotypes, they were known for their wild temperaments. Thorvald was exiled from Norway for murder and moved to Iceland, where his son, Eric the Red, was also exiled for murder. Since Iceland was already the furthest point of exile, Eric decided to try his luck by finding new lands to the west. By this time, Icelanders had already heard of a certain land nearby, as described by another Viking, Gunnbjorn Ulfsson, whose ship had once been blown far off course by a storm. Thus, Eric the Red discovered the island, named it Greenland, and established the first colony there. Interestingly, he may have given this land such a misleadingly appealing name simply to attract more settlers. For almost 3 centuries, Greenland was an independent state. Scandinavian colonies were founded on principles different from what we typically associate with colonialism. In later colonial empires, there was a clear division between the metropole and its colonies. New overseas territories were discovered and claimed through expeditions directed by the central government. Explorers sought the crown's backing before embarking on their journeys, gaining certain powers and guarantees. Viking colonies.
This video is really detailed, so you have to pay serious attention to it so we can get more insight on this.
These, however, were privately established, usually by those in conflict with the ruling powers of their homeland. Persecuted or driven by necessity, Scandinavians sought new lands. Some, like Eric the Red, were simply looking for a place to settle, while others gathered groups of like-minded adventurers and claimed new territories by force. Consequently, these new settlements became independent states and often had strained relations with their former compatriots. Greenland remained a sovereign republic until 1261, when harsh living conditions on the island led its inhabitants to accept the protection of the Norwegian kings. Even then, the island retained internal autonomy. However, just over a century later, Norway, also facing economic difficulties, first entered into a union with Sweden, and then the 2 states joined Denmark in the so-called Kalmar Union. Under this agreement, Norway retained internal autonomy. This made Greenland an autonomy within an autonomy, ultimately under the rule of Danish kings. However, over the next century, Greenland's autonomy ceased to matter. Harsh climatic conditions, its remoteness from the rest of Europe, and a lack of new settlers led to the complete depopulation of Scandinavian colonies on the island by the early 16th century. During this period, a series of uprisings against Danish royal power in Sweden led to the dissolution of the union between the 3 states. Sweden exited the Kalmar Union, leaving Denmark and Norway as the Danish-Norwegian Union, with Denmark maintaining the dominant role. When it became clear that no Scandinavians were left in Greenland, Denmark made several attempts to recolonize it, and by the 18th century, permanent settlements had been re-established. Thus, the connection between
So apparently Sweden, Denmark and Norway used to be together in a group called Kalmar. Oh, this is quite new to me.
Greenland and Norway, which had been tenuous to begin with, rested solely on a centuries-old agreement. Moreover, This agreement was made between a state already under Danish rule and an island population that had vanished entirely. In practice, Denmark treated Greenland as its province. The matter was definitively settled during the Napoleonic Wars. Denmark sided with France, dragging it into conflict with Sweden, which was part of the anti-Napoleonic coalition. Following its defeat, Denmark ceded Norway to Sweden under the 1814 Treaty of Kiel, fulfilling Sweden's long-standing ambitions. This provoked outrage in Norway, whose interests were disregarded. However, the superior Swedish forces compelled Norway to accept these terms. Throughout the 19th century, Norway's primary focus was gaining independence from Sweden, overshadowing the fact that Denmark retained Greenland when Norway was ceded. When Norway finally achieved independence in 1905, it attempted to contest Denmark's claim to Greenland. Norway's main argument was the injustice of the Treaty of Kiel, where its opinion had been ignored. In 1931, a group of
So while Norway was focused on gaining their independence, Denmark were really plotting on standing on business to own Greenland, only for them to come back later and then it was too late already. So that's how Denmark actually owned Greenland. Oh god, it's so good to watch all these videos because you get to know things that you never even knew before.
Norwegian geologists, explorers, and lawyers declared part of Greenland's uninhabited coast Erik the Red's land, claiming it for Norway. The Norwegian government supported this initiative and even appointed a governor for the new province. Fortunately, the conflict was resolved peacefully. Denmark appealed to the International Court of Justice under the League of Nations, which ruled in its favor. Since then, Norway has abandoned its claims to Greenland, and the world's largest island remains under the Danish flag. However, this status continues to irk the United States, which has repeatedly offered to purchase Greenland from Denmark and continues to make such proposals. The Danish government, however, remains steadfast in its refusal.
We all know about how the US has been trying so many times to buy Greenland from Denmark. They've not succeeded in doing that at all. Even recently in 2019, Trump tried again and it didn't work. Greenland is such a, so many eyes on Greenland, but small and little Denmark owns it. That's really amazing. Thank you for watching this video. At least now we know how Denmark got to own Greenland, and I hope you learned something from this video because I did. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Recommend more videos to me and I'll definitely check them out. Give this video a thumbs up because it helps us reach more people. Subscribe if I yet to do that, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.